Can you hear me clear and louder?
Good afternoon, Chief. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, Chief.
Yeah, good afternoon. So let us start. We stopped actually next slide, but let me explain you because there was a question on the proportional control valve. So in this arrangement, if you see how is the arrangement, this is the motor and our thruster is driven by this motor, and this thruster is producing a thrust, and the motor RPM, the thrust will be produced depending on the RPM of the motor. It will increase the thrust. But another thing is function of X, means X is the displacement. What is the displacement? That is the how much in one revolution, how much is the flow of the hydraulic oil which is passing through the your motor. So that is a relation, because that will relate to your, the displacement will relate to your RPM as well as the thrust. So that's why the thrust is function of X. Now this motor, after doing the work, it's going to the your reservoir, and whereas the pump is driven by the electric motor and it's taking from the suction from the reservoir, and then high pressure is coming here, and then that pressure is going to the motor, and then motor is driven and going to the, after it is driven by the hydraulic pressure and the hydraulic oil, and it's going to the reservoir, and there is an unloader or the relief valve here, so that it maintains the system pressure around 20.6 megapascal. So here, this is the desired speed, which it is our what speed we want to run the thruster. That is set value is here, and this is the measured value. So measured value is coming, and then it is compared. It's exactly the same for all the system, control system. So then here it is PID control, and then the output is electrical. So this PID control, its output is electrical, and that is ramp control. If you see this symbol is ramp control. It means it is not step control. There are two type of control already we have covered. That's one is step control, one is ramp control. Ramp control means rate of increase of the output signal will be equal. So what will happen? It means slowly it will increase. It will not be step like this and then this. No. So it will be increase or decrease on the following in this line, and that is a dead position where actually there is no flow. That is for the valve. So there will be this ramp control. There is at one point there will not be any flow when it is changing the direction. So then this electrical power, which is for an example, 0 means the 4 amps to 20 milliamps, 4 milliamps to 20 milliamps, and minimum is 4 and maximum is 20. So, and it will increase on this line, and then it will shift the, it will shift accordingly how much is the force you would get from the in this output from the controller. It will shift that much. It is actually what it will do, it will throttle this. Once it is throttle, it means suppose the speed is increased and it want to reduce the speed, then what will happen? So this will open, it will move in this side. So what will happen? This will get drained through this to the tank. So this is the reservoir. So once it is drained, then what will happen? There will be a pressure drop here. And because of this, and this valve movement, how much maximum it will move, but it will depend on this. This is the restrictor actually for the valve movement. So it can, once it touches here, then it will not move anymore. That is the maximum. It means pressure drop, there is a control. It will not drop less than that. It means once it is moved up to this, there will be a maximum opening here. So we are restricting the pressure and the flow displacement through the minimum displacement we will have to maintain. And the maximum displacement also, when it is touching here, then that much it will be, it means it will that much it will be open that will be the minimum opening will be there. So this is the way the pressure will drop in this line. And then what will happen because of this drop in pressure, and that is a restrictor. It means this side will be slowly dropping. Once this drop, then this side because there is a restrictor here. So this pressure will drop, which is acting in this direction on this piston. So what will happen? This spool will move in this direction. It means if you see, so this is one spool, this spool, it will move in this direction and this pressure will drop. Once this pressure is dropped, then what will happen? It means once this is pressure will be dropped, then the displacement will reduce. So the RPM will reduce and RPM will come to the desired value. And once this is moving in this direction, it means this pressure will drop because this pressure is dropped. So then what will happen? This pressure has dropped, then this one will move in this direction because this pressure will move it in this direction and it will come to an equilibrium to maintain the displacement through the hydraulic motor. The correct displacement of the flow will be maintained so that the RPM and the torque will be maintained as well as the thrust will be also maintained. So this is the way, and if you think, and these all actually, what is this? These are the connections. For an example, this is Ford connection. It is a connector basically. It's available. So this Ford connector, this is plugged. We are using only two connections. Here, this is the same connector we are using. So here it is connected three side, one side is plugged. Here it is connected two side. This is two side is plugged. It is the connector, standard connector they made by the manufacturer so that it can be interchanged. You know, suppose you have, it's not that separate connector, different type of connector you will have to have on board. If you have one connector, you can use for all these 3 points. So that is the, those are the connectors only. So this is the, and if suppose this is reduced, it means we'll have to, torque will have to increase. Then in that case, what will happen? This will give a higher current, and then accordingly, because this is a variable current and it is proportional to this. So it will give a current, so it will move in this direction, the pressure will increase. Once the pressure is increased, this will move in this direction. What will happen? This will push this to in this direction. So the more flow will be increased. Once the flow is increased, the displacement through the motor will be increased. So the torque will be increased, RPM also will be increased. And then it will come to an equilibrium position. This is like reset. So this side and this side, if you see, it is the same pressure. But to coming to equilibrium, it will take certain time because of this restrictor. So this is the way the proportional pressure valve work. What does it mean? It is actually throttling. It's not two position valve. Direction control valve is two position valve. That's why if you have a direction control valve, the motion is jerky motion. The actuator motion will be jerky. It will stop suddenly because it opens and again stop. That's why the proportional control valve we do use where we can control the flow because it will throttle. Then for an example, this will be how much it will be open. It will not be fully open, partially it will be open. If the pressure displacement is required as high, that time maximum open, and minimum open when the displacement of the motor is low rate we need. So that accordingly it will throttle. It's basically a throttler. That's why the proportional valve, if you see the symbolically, suppose this is the proportional valve and this is the one direction and this is another direction. So you'll see it is symbol is like this. What is this symbol? It is the restrictor. It is the throttler. Since it is not opening fully or fully closing, depending on the spool movement, how displacement, how much it has displaced, this throttling will be there. So the flow is controlled. And flow is controlled means pressure also is controlled. Here also this side, how much maximum it will move in this direction, that is the minimum displacement, because this is coming from the pressure which is connected to the motor. So if it moves in this direction, it means this is minimum passage it is having to connect. And if it is moving in this direction, but there will be a minimum, it means there is how much it will displace, there is a restriction. That's why this stopper is there. I think it will be mechanically stopped. So once it is moving in this direction exactly like this, so how much, that will be the maximum displacement. So there will be a flow, how much flow control will be there. So how much will be the maximum flow, how much will be the minimum flow, and it will be proportional, it will be proportional to this. It means there will be a relation between, say, this is proportional to this, it means this is the torque and how much it will be, and this how much displacement will depend on the flow from this, the valve position. It means how much will be the, then that, according to that, the what will be the pressure also. There is a relation between this signal and this signal. It means suppose suppose it is 20 milliamps, so that is equivalent to this is equivalent to, when it is pressure, if you are measuring here, it is 300 bar, like that. So there will be a linear relation between this pressure and this signal which is coming from the controller. This is the controller and this is the output of the controller. And many cases it is PLC control. So the output from the PLC, which is amplified, because PLC output, the voltage, it will not, or the current, it will not be sufficient to move this valve. So it has been amplified and then it moves this valve accordingly. And it means it will be a proportionally, it will movement of this valve will take place, and the this pressure will be regulated and the flow will be regulated. Pressure and flow both will be regulated. So this is the proportional, and we use for the, because this thruster we need to use, because thruster speed is variable speed to achieve the different situation, different speed we do achieve, as well as different side movement we require during the maneuvering and all. So we need to control that. To have a control, we have this kind of control. Now the thruster, it means the advantage, actually why you use, because the vibration and the noise is less. Like if you see the cruise ships, they all use a thruster, because maneuverability also good, as well as there is no sound. If there is cargo ship, there is a lot of vibration, which you cannot afford to have for the cruise ship. Then the cruise, nobody will go to that cruise. So because they go for comfort, and cargo ship, we go for work. So that is the difference, big difference. And the ships where the maneuverability requires is very high, efficient maneuverability is required, there we go for this thruster. Like you have seen container vessel, many container vessel has got the thruster, because it goes to the very means inside of the river, or the very means inside the cities and all, where there is a port, because the draft is less for the container vessel. That is, then you need a good maneuverability, so you need a thruster. So this is actually a description of what all things you need for the. We use this application, as I had shown already, that there is a list of application where we do apply this kind of hydraulic system. That is the thruster, stabilizer, winches, capstan. Capstan is something which is like a mooring. It's for the mooring it is used. It can be driven by the hydraulic also. Crane also we do use for this, which require high power as well as its reliability is good reliability you can have, because wear and tear for the hydraulic system is very, very less. And this is the reservoir, and this is the power pack basically. So you have the pump and other things. One of the power pack I had shown you already, that valve remote control. Similarly, each system will be having a power pack. Now that is the reason actually some vessel, there is some vessel, it is called Framo ship. Why do you call Framo ship? Hydraulic system, one disadvantage is you need to have a power pack individually. Now not that many system we run it on hydraulically. So you have other means of electrical system or the pneumatic system we do use, but pneumatic system is low powered. So what we do, Framo, why do we call it Framo ships? Like for the many chemical tanker, they call it Framo ship. Why they do call? Because in that case, the bow thruster is driven by hydraulic, windlass mooring winch is driven by hydraulic, then all the pumps are driven by hydraulic. So what is been advantage? You can have a common power pack. So once you have a common power pack, all this equipment together, we can use the same power pack, so the average cost is reduced. It means the power pack cost is divided into all the system. So that is the advantage of those kind of a ship. And Framo is very successful in cargo pump operation of the chemical tanker, of the oil tankers. But in addition to that, they wanted to give some benefit to the ship owner, so that the cost reduces. Because we know that hydraulic system, the initial cost is very high. Compared to the pneumatic system, it's very, very high. So they wanted to make it other system to operate from that system, so that they can, overall cost can be reduced. So these are the pipelines, and there are the safeties has to be provided. It means there will be any fault. So electronic protection in sudden change in direction, it means you'll have to change the direction suddenly also, that protection has to be there. And then protection against accidental operation, it means there should be some interlock so that accidental operation does not happen. And gear coupler protection should be there. It means there will be, suppose it is a gear arrangement, so that there will be a flexible coupling, so that flexible coupling, the gear arrangement, if the driven is by the gear because of the different speed. So in that case, the flexible coupling has to be used, so that the coupling will take the load. If something goes wrong, coupling will get damaged, not the pump or the motor will be getting damaged. Then we have the hydraulic tank. So we have, this is the hydraulic tank, and certain things you have for the hydraulic tank. If you see, it means the hydraulic tank has to be the stainless steel and powder coated. Powder coated means there will not be any gap with the powder coating. Once you do that, coating does the uniform coating, and the damage of coating is chances are very, very less. And it is pitting, I mean the coating condition is very, very good if you do the powder coating, because with the high pressure, the powder is, after the cleaning and chemical wash and the water wash, fresh water wash, then the powder coating is done at higher temperature. So the structural noise also has to be taken care, so that because soft mounting fit is provided, so power pack will generate the noise that should not be transmitted to the ship structure. And Schwarz plate, we have for the internal Schwarz plate, we have seen on that one of the diagram I had shown you. That is the Schwarz plate. The tank is divided into, in between there is a plate, so remove the air and from the oil, because it takes some time to come out the air from the oil. So it should not go directly to the pump section return line. So there is a Schwarz plate, means it is dividing it is making a partition, so that when it is coming to the return line, coming to the tank, it has got sufficient time to air to escape from the oil. Then angle bottom, why you need angle bottom? Because drain plug will be one corner. So the all the oil when you are draining should get drained out from one point. It means the bottom should be making some angle. So you have the drain here. So all the oil will come out. So all internal connections are pre-fitted. Like the manufacturers when they supplied, it comes with the complete power packets coming. So external piping is done by the shipyard, but the not internal piping. Electrical connection also thruster. It is pre-wired, means it is already wired. Only the external connection which is done by the shipyard. And the temperature control also, water pump for the oil cooler. It means this oil cooler will be having this, you can see this, there is a coil inside. So these are the cooling coil. So it will be flowing through that, and the temperature will be controlled by this. It means suppose it is means at certain temperature it should stop. And once it is increasing the temperature, this valve is automatically open, the water is flowing through that, and then it cools. So it is maintaining a range of temperature in the system. So this is dual internal. In this particular case, it is shown, two coils is shown, that is dual. And air filter is ventilating cap, that is the A. This is the B, that is this is the breather. And then you have the high pressure C. C is the high pressure line that is going to the system, and that is the high pressure filter on the your and with the gauge, that is the differential pressure gauge is there. And the return line filter also, it's D, that is the return line filter. This is the return line filter, and this is the high pressure which is going to the system. And then E is the filter with the felt. So you have the E because in no dart should enter, that is the felt filter is the air filter. And F is the additional cooler, that is the this is, you have the cooler, this tank is having a additional cooler. You might not have cooler, you may have cooler, but large system definitely will be having the cooler. And there will be a relief valve also, because system pressure has to be over, it should not be over pressure. So otherwise your system will get damaged. Shock valve also. What is the shock valves actually? So when the pressure is released, slowly it will release the pressure. It means it is a throttler basically. So the throttle, this sometime you'll be seeing a symbol like this. And there is a check valve here like this. This is the shock valve. What does it mean? When it is going in this direction, the high flow will be. But when it is releasing the pressure, this pressure, this is the check valve, it cannot flow like this. So what will happen? This will go to the drain through this. So that slowly the load will be reducing. So that is the shock valve is provided for that. So that sudden surge is not there. And the thruster also, there is a hydraulic flow curve that has to be matched. It means that for the high efficiency, that match with the propeller thrust, because propeller thrust and this flow, that is the displacement, there is a relation. It has to be proportional control. And manual activation, it means if any consumer that has to, that can be manually also can be activated, not only in control, because control can fail, then manually you'll have to operate. And identification of each valve reference, it means the each valve reference, it has to be marked properly so that you know which valve is for what. Otherwise, in case of emergency, you'll be looking around. So this is the same diagram which you have seen already. So now this side thruster, which is very reliable hydraulically, when it is hydraulic system is very reliable, many vessel we do use for that. And there can be a side thruster. What does it mean, the side thruster? Side thruster means is the tunnel thruster, that is the side movement of the vessel we do require, we do the side thruster. Forward thruster, it means it is moving the vessel and forward and off direction. So, but the mechanism means that it will be more power than the side thruster. Side thruster you use only for the during the maneuvering when you move the vessel sideways. And this is the pump we have. And on load sense, we have seen one of the diagram I had explained how the load sense is automatically load sense it, so the flow is controlled automatically. Schwarz plate angle, it changes, it senses the delivery pressure and it changes the Schwarz plate angle. And the power takeoff is how the it is driven. The pump can be driven by the engine also. So this is the it means it can be power takeoff can be from the, suppose the engine is doing some other work, and it can be also, this hydraulic pump also can be driven. It can be driven by the motor, electric motor, as well as it can be engine driven also. Like the Framo, they have a power pack which is some of the pump will be engine driven, some of the pump will be electric motor driven, so that the our generator power requirement will be less. So this is electric driven AC power, whereas this is the engine driven. Load sensing, we have seen load sensing, how it's so that it displacement it's changes, so that angle, Schwarz plate angle is changes, so that the reduce the load or the increase the load. It means increase the flow. Once the load is increased, your flow is reduced. When load is reduced, the flow is increased, so that time the RPM we can increase because the load is less. But load is high, we'll have to reduce the torque. High torque at low speed you'll have to achieve. Now there is certain system. This is the end, that is the last slide for this chapter. Let us see certain system. So as we have seen, one of the system we have the windlass and the mooring winch. So certain diagram we'll see the windlass and the mooring winch, we use the system. So we have a power pack, we can have independent power pack aft and forward. Like Framo ship, it will be one power pack, which will all this system will be equipment will be driven by one power pack together with bow thruster as well as the cargo pumps. So you can, suppose you have you'll have to have any hydraulic system, you'll have to have a power pack. So windlass and the mooring winch, forward there will be anchored windlass as well as the mooring winch. Aft there will be mooring winch. Usually there is, we don't use aft anchor. We can have aft anchor also, but usually we don't use that. For special type of a vessel we do use. So the forward will be for an example, it is the system is same. Only thing, the torque requirement is less. For the mooring winch, the torque requirement is less, and the windlass, the torque requirement is high. So if you see the system, this will be the system. Let me enlarge it. So this is the system where this is the power pack. You can see there are two pump in each power pack. We have, this is two pump and this is two pump, four pump is there, and there is a pressure line. This red line what I have drawn is the pressure line. So the pressure line is going to the pressure side, and the return line is the blue line which is coming back to the tank. It is the same return line will be, there will be a return filter, that is the same for all. And then the pressure line, there will be a pressure regulating valve which will regulate the pressure. Then let us see this side, because all will be identical. So Here, same system, there will be from fore and aft. In this case, there is a common power pack for fore and aft. So there is anchor windlass and the mooring winch here, and then the large vessel will be having the in between also there will be the mooring winch. These are the mooring winch, and this is the aft mooring winch. Because there the length is more, you need a breast line and all. That's why we have the more number of mooring winch. So in this case, what will happen? This line, if you see, this is a ring line. Yes, the hydraulic system on deck, it will be ring line. Ring line means if you see this, this is going, the pressure line is going this way, and this is, there is a valve which is connecting both the line. A return line is coming to back to the our the power pack. So in that case, what will happen? Why we need this actually? We always will be having this, and be careful. Sometime you'll see, because some of the deck people maybe might not be knowing what is this valve. He opens by mistake, and then you have started the means the it is this power pack has been started and it is not operating because the pressure is not building. So this can be one of the reason for that. So you need to check that if this valve is shut or not. If this valve is not shut, it means it is a ring, it is connecting to the return line. It happens sometime because of ignorance, somebody opened this valve, it can happen. But actually system, there is no problem. Because of this valve, the pressure is not going to the do the work for the hydraulic motor. So this is the ring line. Then why this is provided then? This line, this valve is provided for the flushing. If you don't have this valve, you won't be able to flush the line completely. So the flush, during the flushing, this valve is used to remove the all particles and all, foreign materials and all. Now this valve, this line, pressure line and the return line which is connected to the our windlass. Now let's see this part, remaining part is same. So how does it work? So if you see this diagram, this is the bypass valve to make a ring, and this is the an extreme end, there will be air vent. Even here also there will be air vents so that air can be released, and this valve should be shut. And now if you see, this is the pressure line. Both side is identical, port and starboard. Let us see one side. So this is the pressure line which is coming here, and then it's coming to the control valve. And this line which is coming, that is the return line which is going back, and there is a non-return valve here, and it is going back to the tank this way. This is coming from the power pack, and this is going to the power pack. So now what will happen? And there will be a relief valve if it is means the pressure is increased. So the relief valve is connect to the your return line, and this is the counterbalance valve. It means the counterbalance valve we know, because windlass, when you are the paying off the anchor, then it can happen because of some reason it will suppose you hold that, you stopped it after the anchoring, after that it can pay off the cable. So which should not be. To prevent that, we have the non-return valve which will block it. But if the load is high, then what will happen? Suppose due to the wind, due to the rough weather, the vessel is trying to move, then slowly it should pay off. But it will not pay off if you have a stopper, but this counterbalance valve will hold in that position. We have seen the load will not drop. And if the pressure is increasing, means increase, then at set pressure it will open and it will allow to move. It will allow that pressure to release to the return line. So this pressure will come to this side, and this will go to the return line. This dotted line, what is that? Is the drain line. Is indicate it's going back to the reservoir. Now this valve we do operate. Once this has got 3 position, 4-port valve, then the center position all are blocked. So in center position, the windlass, the motor will be locked in a position, or the moving winch, it will be locked in a position. And then there is a interlock valve. What is the interlock valve? When you are operating this, clutch should be engaged. It means it ensures that the clutch is engaged, then the brake will be released. So what you see here, this pressure line is going to this, and clutch you are operating manually. Once you operate manually clutch, then this position, this will activate, this will push from here, clutch is handle will be pressing this interlock valve, and this position will change. Once this position is changed, then this will go and release the brake. It means if you by mistake you don't operate the you don't engage the clutch, then what will happen? Brake will not be released. You can operate this, still windlass will not move, because the relief valve will lift and it will connect to the return line. So this interlock is provided for the safety. Otherwise, if you don't engage and this motor will rotate without load, so that should not happen. So it will rotate at very high speed. So this line, what you see is the drain line. All the hydraulic system motor, there will be some leakage that goes back to the tank. It means this is going to the, this line is dotted line, which is the drain line, which is going to the tank. So this is the way it will work. Now this handle, when you move to, it will be both the direction. If you see this diagram, so it can move in both direction. It means, but when it is like this is the direction. If you see here, this, so this is the return line. Let me draw in green. So this is the pressure line which will be connected in this direction, and this will be the return line when this position comes. It will be 3 position. So this will be the return line. And here, this is the pressure line, and this is the return line. So this is the return line. So what the direction of the motor can be changed, so that you can heave up the anchor as well as you can pay out the anchor. Both operation you can have. This is one of the arrangement you have. But for the anchor, one thing, the speed of the motor has to be changed. Suppose when the load is high, your speed of the motor has to be reduced because you need high torque. And when load is less, you can use the higher speed. So there is a speed control for this. So let us see how does it work. It is the same thing which I had just explained. One side it is. So the speed control is done by this hydraulic motor. The speed control is done by this. There is a control valve by which it is control the stroke of the motor. Hydraulic motor is been changed. Let us see how it is changed. Then it will be very easy to understand this diagram. So this is the system. So this is the pump which is coming to this, the control valve, and then you have this is the control valve, and this control valve handle has got a lock, which is in neutral position. You lock it always after operation. Otherwise, what will happen? If it moves, then it will start moving. So always there is a locking device which can lock the control valve is neutral position, that is the center position. And here there is another valve, it means that is the interlock valves, and this is the counter balance valve. It means you have this is the control valve which is pump is supplying. So let us see the flow. And this is the motor. This is the piston type hydraulic motor. And this is the valve which is controlling the speed of the, it means this is the selector, high speed and the low speed we can select. Accordingly, the motor will run high speed or the low speed. Let us see the next slide. So this is the flow. The pressure line will move like this, and this is connected to this side. And in neutral position, what will happen? This will come back to the return line. It means this will enter like this, and this will come like this, and then it will connect to the return line, and it will come back to the tank. And drain, this is the drain line, will come back to the tank. Now once it is operated, then what will happen? So once it is operated, let us see how, what is it happening. So now we have moved this direction, which is the upwind. It means we are heaving up the anchor. In that case, what will happen? This will be the flow. So this is the flow. It will come like this. This spool has shifted. This is a spool valve. And this is handle which is moving the spool, changing the spool position. So in this direction, when you move, the spool valve will move upward, and what will happen? This port will be connected. It means P will be connected to A and T will be connected to B. So the pressure will move like this, and then it is going to the hydraulic motor to turn. And the return line, it will come back like this, and then it will coming back like this. So the B and T is connected, it is coming to the drain, and it is rotating as a the wind, it is the up, means it is the heaving up the anchor, so that it is lifting the anchor. In that direction it will rotate. Now when you move to the downward direction, what will be the flow? In the downward direction, this will be the flow. So the flow direction will change, and the motor will rotate in opposite direction. So now the P and B is connected, A and T is connected. So the direction of rotation has changed. Now let us see the other part, how you change the speed. And this is the motor. In motor, if you see, this is the piston you have, and this is the cylinder. So there are number of piston and number of cylinder you have. Suppose 6 cylinder, 6 piston, and there is a drum, and this is the crankshaft. This crankshaft has got a slot here. For the each piston, there is an arrangement like this. So one of the piston, if you see, this is the drum, and this drum can shift this way. So this drum, what you see here, this is a ring actually. This is a circular drum. This side is this. So this can move this way and this way. So when it is moving this way, it means it will change the displacement here. That is, the stroke will change. And when it is moving opposite side, the stroke will change. So the speed will change accordingly. And this is the valve which is driven by this crankshaft itself. And this valve will decide that this valve will decide, then if you are running on opposite direction, what will happen? It will suction and discharge will change, as well as that, it means the pressure line and the return line will change, as well as the which piston will get the pressure, which piston will drain. That also decided by this valve. This is the rear cover, and this is the valve which is the controlling the flow of the hydraulic oil to the cylinder. To rotate the correct direction, it has to be rotated, as well as this portion, this drum can be shifted so that the speed can be controlled also. So this is the basic. Now let us see actually how it happening. So this is, you can see there are number of piston, these all end cover, that is the cylinder top cover, and these are the valves. This valve is at the end, which is rotated by this crankshaft itself. Like if you see the cross sectional, then it will be looking like this. So it will be look like this. So just actually power has gone. I'm connecting the dongle. That's why. So if you see, there are different position of the piston. So let us start again. There was so this is the cross-sectional view. There are 5 piston here, and then there are piston position. Depending on the position, what will happen? This flow of liquid will be there. The hydraulic oil will enter into the through this. So in this case, if you see, this B is getting oil now, and C also is getting oil. Means this is the B. This is A. A is getting oil. B is getting oil, and then in this case, these are the return. It means return is connected to E, D, and B. C has reached to the TDC. So now when it is rotating this one, this will change. If you see this, so this is block. So it means this is connected to our pressure line, and this is also connected to the pressure line. This 2 cylinder is getting oil, and these are return line, and this is also rotating. As this is rotating, this is also rotating, and this is a crankshaft is eccentric. It means this is the crankshaft center, whereas this center is this. The drum center is this, and your drum is rotating, and piston is sliding onto the drum. Piston is not rotating. Piston is reciprocating because of this eccentricity. Because of this eccentricity, when this side is coming here, because if you see the casing, this is the distance here, and whereas this is the distance here. So when it is, this point is coming here, because it is rotated by this crankshaft, then what will happen? This piston is moving down. This piston is at TDC because this distance is minimum. And this will be in between some position. And this position is the BDC, because this is TDC, so it has reached to the lowest position. So this piston actually already done the work. It means the pressure was here. Now this piston has to be connected to the drain. So this piston will get blocked because this, if you see this side, as it is rotating, now what will happen? This will move in this direction, and this will, there will not be supplied any oil. So what will happen? B will be supplying, because B still has to move downward direction, and our direction of motion is this. And what will happen to the C? C has reached to the TDC. Now C will start moving down, and the pressure will be applied here. It means if you see this position of the valve, so now it is blocked till TDC, but it is moving in this direction. What will happen? Now it will open partially, and slowly it will open full like this. So then the high pressure oil will enter into this, and 2 piston at a time it is getting the the pressure line is connected to that. So the hydraulic pressure is acting, pushing the piston downward direction. So what will happen? Actually, piston is driving the crankshaft, and crankshaft is driving the the output, that is the windlass. Windlass is driven by the crankshaft. So in this case, this will be blocked here, and this will start getting the oil, and it will push down, and this is also pushed down. And then similarly, this will move here, and then once this move here, then what will happen? This will stop because this will come here, and this will move here. So like two of the piston is always will be getting the oil which is driving the your windlass or mooring winch. It will be the same mechanism, only this the speed control will not be there for the mooring winch. For windlass we have the speed control because of the high torque we required at slow speed because of the load is very high. So this is the way the hydraulic motor works. It means at 0 degree, this is the position. As it changes the position, the angular displacement, then what will happen? This is at 0 degree, then it will change at 18 degree. What will happen? This is designed such a way so that you can see here, it is opened. So this valve has opened this passage and it is covered. So the now 3 at a time it will get, but 2 after that it will get again 2. So this is the way it function. 18 degree, this will be the position, and then next is 36 degree. What will be the position? It is getting this 2 piston is getting oil pressure, and then that overlapping time there will be 3. Otherwise it will stop. It will have a jerky motion. That is the reason that overlap in between it is been kept. So this is the 36, and then you have the next will be having the 54. 54, this 2 is getting, and it is coming to this side, and this side will be covered after that. So 120 degree, means the 210 degree, this will be the position. So it will keep on, this when this is the pressure is connected, this side is the connected to our return line. So this is the way it works for the windlass, and this is the mechanism by which you can change the displacement of the piston, so that that's a stroke we can change. Suppose we want to change the speed, what will happen? There is a selector through which the F, suppose F is getting pressure, and that valve, by changing that valve, we can change the direction of flow. So here the red line which what you are getting from the end cover, it will enter, and the crankshaft there is a groove through which there is an oil. This is the groove H and I, and there is a oil passage internally. It's coming here. There is 2 piston. One is small piston, one is the large piston. This L is this is the small piston, and this is the large piston. So in this case, when it is coming to the pressure is coming to the smaller piston underside, then what will happen? The large piston, there is the oil from this side will get drained. So this will shift in this direction, upward direction, and the drum will move. This is the drum where the piston is sliding. So this will move in upward direction, and the speed will be reduced because the displacement will be reduced. Now the less oil will enter into the piston. So the torque, it means the speed will reduce, but the torque will be higher torque, so that you can control the speed, low speed. And if it is high speed we required, load is less, then what will happen? Just it will reverse this. Now when you select a switch, it is a spool of the selector switch. When you change the knob, it will change, and the flow direction, that is a direction control valve, and it will be reverse the direction. And now the larger piston is getting the oil, high pressure, and the smaller piston, it is getting drained to the reservoir. So what will happen? This will move downward in Y2 direction. Previously it was moving Y1 direction. Now the speed will be increased because the displacement will increase. So that is the way it functions. Sometimes you'll say that the speed is, it is not getting the speed, or it is not, torque is not increasing at high load, because that time it has to reduce the speed. that time if your selector, the speed selector valve is not functioning correctly, then this will be a problem. This mechanism will not work and it will not change the displacement, and you will not, high load, you cannot run it at higher speed. So you need to check this system. This is a very simple system. So is it any question on this, the hatch cover, the windlass and the mooring winch? And mooring winch, only the speed control will not be there, otherwise it will be same. And mostly when there is a very high load, it will be the piston, or it can be vane type also, motor. Motor can be also of vane type. It is same like the your pump, vane pump. There is no difference. So direction of the flow is changing, and in inlet become, means the pressure and the return line is reversing by the control valve, and the motor is rotating in opposite direction. And this, there will be a gear arrangement through which, because the speed of the windlass has to be reduced, or the mooring winch, there will be a gear arrangement, through gear it will be driven. This motor will be rotating at higher speed than your windlass of the mooring winch. So through the gear, the speed is reduced, and then the windlass or the mooring winch is been operated. So any question, have you understood how it is done? So this is the motor, and this is the valve, and these are the components. So this, what you see is that this is the displacement drum, which can radially move to change the displacement of the our piston, because our piston is sliding onto the drum. So next is hatch cover. Hatch cover, the hydraulic system, how does it work? So this is the hatch cover, and it is same like it is coming from the our power pack will be same. That will be a pump, and what all components we have seen, it is the common. And then there will be a pressure line and the return line, which is from the fore aft, and fore and aft there will be, depending on means power pack where it is, but fore and aft there will be a line which is then parallelly connected to the all the hatch covers. And this is one of the type of hatch cover, and but it will be more or less same, but folding type, like there will not be jack up, but other type there will be jack up. But where you have the jack up, first thing, the cleat should be removed, and there can be auto cleat. If it is auto cleat, then there will be an interlock. You won't be able to operate the hatch cover automatically. It means the connection of the hydraulic line will be such so that the hydraulic pressure will disconnect the, it means disengage the auto cleat will be released, and your jack up also will be lifted. It means the hatch cover will be lifted by the jack, hydraulic jack, and then only you will be able to operate. It means that it will start moving the hatch cover. Hatch cover will not move. Those are the interlocks has to be provided, and the system itself interlock is provided. Even if you operate, it will not work. It means it will not, the pressure will not go to the hydraulic motor to move the hatch cover. Only it will happen once your auto cleat is released and your jack up is done by the hydraulically, it is jacked up so that the wheel is on the track. So here one of the suppose you don't have the auto cleat. Auto cleat is the cylinder. It is a hydraulic cylinder by which it can be pushed and it can be locked. For an example, so this is a cylinder, and this is the hatch cover, which is after it is resting, it means the jack has moved down, and after that, suppose there is a pin here. So this auto clit, there is a piston here, and there is a clit here. Clit is look like this. So this is the clit, and this is the pivot point. What will happen? This piston will move in this direction, this will move this direction, and it will come to the this. So it will come onto this pin. So once it is moving in this direction, this auto clit will come to this, and it will get locked. So this pin position, it means it will be moved in this direction. Suppose the pivot point is somewhere, it means once it is moving in this direction, this will move in this direction. And then auto clit, this is the pin, this is the pivot point, it will lock the hatch cover so that it will not be able to move upward direction or any direction, it will not be moving. There will be number of auto clit around the side. So all this will be synchronized, synchronization should be there, this piston. This cylinder, all the cylinder will be at the same time, it is synchronized, that we have seen the hydraulic synchronization circuit, it will synchronize so that it will open together. And then it will jack up the hydraulic, means the hatch cover. That is by the jacks, these are the jacks. So these are the jacks, it will lift the hatch cover, and so that the wheel is on the track, and after that only it will start moving in this direction. Otherwise it will not move it, because there is an interlock here. So let us see how it is. So this is the system. So it is same like from the power pack it is coming. This is the pressure line, and this is the return line, and there is a restrictor so that flow can be controlled, because hatch cover should open slowly. It should not open very fast. Then with the momentum, it is a very heavy masses. So it can damage things, and hatch cover itself also will get damaged. So there will be a restrictor, flow control, and then where it is going, it is coming here, and then it is going through this, and there is a non-return valve, and there is a restrictor here. This is the combination valve between this non-return valve as well as flow control valve. This is the shock valves. And then there is a reducer here, which is here it is connected to, and there is a pressure point here. You can measure the pressure at this point, and then it is going to in this direction. And in the case of emergency, we can operate the manual connection also. It can be manual portable pump connection can be connected here. And then this is the flow which is coming here and then coming to the control valve. And there are two control valves. It means this control valve, when is passing through this, and then this is these two in series, it is coming here and it is blocked. And then this is also coming here, and if the pressure is high, then it will going to the return line. This, if you trace the line, this line will lift this valve, and then it will go to the return line. And this is the open and close. This is the hatch cover open and close, and this is the hatch cover up and down. It means the jack up. So unless you operate this, these two will not be connected. It means once you operate this, it will ensure that this line, if you see, which is going to the jack, this is the line, the pressure will go to this through this. So pressure will come from here, this is connected now, this will move like this, and then this will move like this, and then it will connect to the jack. Like the first class I have shown you that jack, it will connect to this, and the jack will lift. Once the jack is lifted, after that only it will be this, the flow will be going to this direction. It means open direction. Suppose this is the open, you are manually operating open or close. In that case, this position will come here. Suppose this is the position 1, it will come here. The flow will be like this. It means this will be connected. This will be the pressure line and this will be the return line. And the cover will open. Otherwise, cover will not open because this pressure will go to this side, to the hydraulic jack. And if you have the auto cleat, it will go to the auto cleat. This will be a parallel, auto cleat also will open. There it will be a parallel line from here. So this interlock has to be there. Otherwise, what will happen if this interlock is not there? Hydraulic jack did not jack up the hatch cover. It will be, system will be get damaged because it will try to open the hatch cover, but there will be mechanical interference. Because of this, hydraulic jack has not lifted the hatch cover to bring to the wheel to the track. So when it is, suppose when you are closing it, what will happen? This you'll have to first close, because once this jack is lifted, what will happen? This pressure is blocked here and it will remain at that position. And after that, because jack will be lifted, after that only this pressure will flow in this direction. And there is a restricted here, the flow will be, it means it will make sure that this flow will come here first and then it goes there. Now you have closed it. In opposite direction, the flow is now, because this position will come here, this is 3, this will come here, the direction of flow is changed. Once the direction of flow is changed, then what will happen? It will close. The hatch cover will come to the closed position. After that, you will be dropping the hatch cover, the hydraulic jack will move downward direction. That time what will happen? This will become the return line. If you see this, so this position will change, and once this position is changed for the down, what is happening here? So this position will come. What is this position? If you see, so this is the position. So this is the pressure line. And this is the position. So this is the pressure to be released. And this is the line. So this pressure will get released. Now what will happen? This pressure is coming from here. So this combination valve is controlling the lowering speed. It means if you don't control this, it means now the flow will be through this orifice. That's restricted because flow cannot be through this. Then what will happen? Because of the high load, the weight of your hatch cover is resting on the jack. Now it will be dropped very fast, which we cannot afford to, it will damage. So what will happen? We'll have to slowly drop the hatch cover. So how it can be done? Because of this flow control valve. So when it is moving down, the hatch cover, jack is moving down, it will come through this, it will get drained out through this. So this is connected to our drain line, because this is the connection. If you look at this connection, this is the connection now. So the both side, it means this side pressure line which is connected here, that will get drained, as well as this is the connection in this position 3. Suppose this is the position. So what will happen? All the pressure will get released and going to the tank. This is the return line. So there is no, it means slowly the hatch cover will drop, and then because of the jack is moving very slowly, but when it is lifted, it was faster, because this combination valve is there. Always you'll be having this kind of arrangement to avoid any damage. So this is the arrangement for the hatch cover. Any question on this? All of you, have you understood how the circuit is? And there will be a pressure to be maintained. That is here, this is the pressure reducing valve, which is maintaining the system pressure to 20.6. And this side, I have not shown it. This is the reverse. This is a simple, it will reverse the direction. This is the direction control valve. It means when it is opening, this is the pressure line. And when this is the return line, it changes the direction, the pressure line, this become pressure line, this become return line. It operates its closing and opening. That is by the hydraulic motor and with the chain. That we'll see in the ship construction. You have a hatch cover, that is the construction part. But this is the hydraulic system, it works like this. And here, if you see, here there is a restrictor. It means when it is moving up, this drain line, return line is connected through this, then also it will be controlled. It will not be too fast moving upward, because you will be needing high force to move up. So that is the reason return line is, there is a restrictor. That means it is controlling the flow. So this is one of the arrangement for our hatch cover. So next, actually, we have time. So I covers one of the system, or tell me what do you want. There are a few system I'll be covering in this, but I'll be covering like this, like the circuit, the hydraulic diagram I'll be explaining. So the Framo I'll be explaining, but do you want me to stop here and another class to do, and I start the another chapter, or let me finish this chapter, one or two more system? Which way you want? So okay, let me finish some more. So here, this is the hydraulic motor, and that can be rotated in both direction. That through connection, it will be connected to this. And this is the jacks. So that all the jack, if you see, it is parallel connection. So all jack will lift at the same time, because this hatch cover has to lift at the same time. Otherwise, there will be a deflection on the hatch cover, which will damage the hatch cover and it will not seal properly. So that's the reason hatch cover deflection has been measured, and then it will, that open and close will do this movement of the hatch cover. So this is Framo system, which has got hydraulically operated. So in this case, we have the cargo pumps as well as the bow thruster is also operated by the hydraulically. It is operated same power pack, and then the this is the ballast pump also has been operated by this same hydraulic pump. This is so all this actually used from the same power pack, so that hydraulic power pack you can have a separate. It can be in the like pump room for the forward of the accommodation. There has to be a void space as per the regulation in that space, or it can be in the engine room. Many ships it is in the engine room. This power pack is in the engine room. And then all, even the mooring winch, the aft mooring winch, forward mooring winch, windlass, bow thruster, all will be operated by the same power pack. So in this case, if you see, this is the bow thruster, which is hydraulically operated. And this is also ring, that we have seen the ring line, this is also ring line. And there will be a bypass valve for the flushing. And there will be vent here. So the extreme point you can vent. In normal operation, this should be shut always. Sometimes it leaks because of the aging. It leaks, then same problem will come. You'll see your system is become sluggish. Speed you are not achieving. One of the reason it can be, it is leaking. Like what I said, that by mistake sometime it happens, because because of the ignorance, somebody might have operated this valve. And this ballast pump, submerged ballast pump, as well as the cargo pump, portable pump also can be used. And then you have the tank cleaning pump. Tank cleaning pump also hydraulically it can be used. And this is the power pack, hydraulic power pack. And this is the control station. This is in the CCR, so that it can be operated, all the equipment can be operated together. And this remote control valve assembly these are the control valve, and this signal is coming electrical signal. And this power pack should be able to operate from here, start and stop. So this is the electrical connection, as well as the sensor also is there are sensors that has to come here, alarm also has to come here. And this is usually it is a PLC control, so that the precise control can be made, the RPM can be controlled very precisely. So this is the system. This is the pressure line, which is the pink color, it is the pressure line, and this is the return line. So this is the pump, this is the Schwarz plate pump, and it is the load sensing pump. You can see there is a Schwarz plate angle can be adjusted by the load. Load is high, it will reduce, because now you need the pressure to be maintained. Load is high, so the flow will be reduced. So the RPM will be reduced. So accordingly, automatically it adjusts. And this is the return line, but it will have a feed. This is the reservoir, and there will be a feed pump. There will be more than one feed pump, because there will be standby pump. This is also more than one pump, main pump, depending on the system requirement. There will be 3, 2, 4, 6 like that. So because how much pressure you maintain and how much volume you need to flow through the system. And this pump is supplying to the suction side, so that suction side, it is always keeping a pressure. This is a low pressure pump, so this supplying to the suction pump, suction side of the main pump, and the pressure is maintained on the suction side. And this is when the pump is not running, that time also the feed pump is running, there is a pressure relief valve which is maintaining system pressure at the suction side of the main pump. And what will happen, this will lift and it will go to the tank. So this, because this pump is stopped, when the pump is running, that time this pressure will come from here, this flow will be from here. And this is the return line which is connected to the suction side. It means this is the delivery, and then this is coming here, and this will be flow, extra flow will be there, and the suction pressure is always maintained. And this is the drain line. Drain line, it will go to the, that is the leakage, it will go to the reservoir. And there are pressure switches and the level switches, so that you have the alarm and the indication what is the condition. There's the safety as well as the pressure you should see, and the pressure sensor, it will be pressure switch will be there. And this reservoir also will have a temperature sensor which will maintain a temperature of the oil, and there will be a cooler will be having a valve which is a water valve, fresh water or the sea water valve, usually LTHT if it is, it will be the fresh water valve that will be open at 30 degrees centigrade. It means below 30 degrees centigrade, it will be shut it, and then it will maintain a temperature, and maximum temperature of the oil, it will be 65 degree centigrade. It should not be more than that. And this is the load sensor, as I told you already. And then this is the flow pressure line, and the return line comes here, and it comes to the suction side. But this pump will be, this feed pump will maintain a pressure on the suction side. Even if it is stopped, when it is not, actually, it is at low load, the suction pipe pressure will be always maintained. And this is like temperature sensor. So this will be the oil sample, because system oil sample we take and send for a laboratory analysis for the condition, because the hydraulic system, it is very important that the oil condition is maintained. And there will be a filters on the return line. You can see that is there is a differential pressure is measured, So we know what is the condition of filter, and accordingly, this is the oil cooler. Sorry, this is the oil cooler, and this is the filter. So filter differential pressure is measured, and the oil cooler, that the oil flow, you can see that is a solenoid valve. So it will not be open in all time, because if it is cold, very cold, then what will happen? The flow will be, viscosity will be high, and the flow will be reduced, which will also will have the adverse effect on the system. So the flow should be maintained. So that is the reason. And this is pump is Schwarz plate, and this if there is a leakage and we need to replenish the oil. So what will happen? There is a system here. This is the pump which will supply and fill up this tank. So this will be replenishing the tank, and there will be a flexible hose, as well as there will be the filter. So when you're filling, so it should be filtered and then it should fill. So this is the way it's working. It means these two connection we can connect here, one connection. So with the flexible hose we can connect, and then we can supply to the tank. So the tank will be level, we can increase by replenishing the oil, and it will take suction from here. This is the storage tank. So from here you can fill it up here. So, and for the bunker, you can fill it through the filter. There will be filter. Through the filter, it will be filled in the tank. It is a closed system. Why it is made closed system? We had many ships had got a very bad experience. Hydraulic system, when it is working fine, because if you are maintaining the oil condition fine, there is no problem. The moment it gets contaminated, it gives a lot of tough time. So that is the reason what the Framo has done. They have made complete enclosed system. Even the replenishing is enclosed, so that there is no chances of contamination. So the foreign material or contaminant does not go inside the system. And even when you are taking the bunker of the lube oil, means the hydraulic oil, that time also, because this system is a large system, will be having the large quantity of the oil, and then it will be also filtered and filled. It will not be filled directly. So in the line itself, there is a line filter, so that we can avoid the contamination. Even it is completely closed system we can have, and strategically there will be air vent, so that we can vent the air. And this is the system pressure. We can maintain the system pressure, because this, if you see, this is the line from the delivery, which is controlling your this piston, which is changing our Schwarz plate angle. The system pressure we can set, and accordingly this will be, system pressure can be maintained. It means the part of the oil, it will be going to the back to the reservoir through this line. And this is a relief valve, for an example, or the pressure regulating valve. And this is the system pressure relief valve. This is the relief valve, this is the pressure setting. So relief valve, when the pressure is increased, the delivery pressure, it will be connected to this, and it will go to your tank's back. So this is the way, that means it will connect it to the return line. And there was some connectivity, the power has come, that's why it's changed over. So let us start again. So this is the way it works, and this is the unloading. Okay, let us enlarge. So this is the unloader valve. It can be unloaded. You can see it is a solenoid valve. So it can be unloaded from the control room, that is the CCR. We can unload the pump. It means how many pumps we want to use. So one pump, suppose we unload. We don't need the pump because you are operating suppose two pumps or the one pump. So you can unload it. And as the pressure increases, also we can unload the pump. When you start, it will be in the unload condition. It means the pressure should not be immediately. After that, it will be loaded once it is stabilized. So then this two line where it goes, so it goes to the here. So then different consumer it goes to. So one of the consumer is shown. It is coming to the to drive a hydraulically driven centrifugal pump, and this is the pressure line and the return line. And there are strategically there will be vents provided, and this there is a control valve here. That is the STC. That is the speed torque control valve. And this valve is operated by this solenoid valve. These are the solenoid valves. From there, the pilot valve will come and operate that valve. And that valve can be also operated manually. Locally, you can operate that valve so that local operation also is there. And this torque control valve, it's installed on the on the deck, through which the hydraulic oil, this return and the pressure oil is going to the hydraulic motor. Hydraulic motor is inside the tank, and this is controlled by the PLC control, and these are the proportional control valve. And that proportional control valve will decide how much will be the flow here. So accordingly, the STC valve will move the spool, and accordingly it will throttle. This is also STC valve, also it is a proportional control valve. It means the signal is coming from the PLC, which is proportional. It means it is not step control, it is a ramp control, which is operating our the control valves. These are the proportional control valve, and accordingly it is giving you this is the inlet and the outlet from each valve. It will operate each pump, suppose, or the bow thruster will have a different proportional valve. So that is giving the hydraulic pressure, that is the pilot pressure. This is the pilot valve, it means. And then the pilot pressure will operate your STC valve. And then accordingly, the speed will be adjusted for the pump, or for the bow thruster, the speed will be adjusted accordingly. So it will also maintain, it should not overspeed. Suppose the level of the tank is reducing, it can overspeed because the load is less. So there will be a flow control which will restrict the flow, maximum flow, so that it will, even if you are trying to increase, it will not be increased, it will not exceed the maximum RPM, operatable RPM. So this is the system you have, and this is the control you'll be having in the CCR, by which you can see this is the proportional pressure control valve, and this is the system pressure to be maintained. This is also, it's coming from here because all the input is here. So accordingly, what will be the system pressure? It will be maintained from here, and this is the PLC output pressure, and this is the PLC, and you can change the pressure setting. You can change depending on the requirement. You can change them manually. You can set that is the desired value, and then PLC will give you the output accordingly. And this is the system pressure. How much will be this is sensor is sensing that, and this is the measured value, and this is the desired value, and this is the error, and accordingly the pressure will be adjusted for the system. And this is the transmitter, pressure transmitter, which is measuring the pressure and coming here. So this is the control you have, because PLC we can have precise control. It means exactly we can maintain the pressure. And this is actually, this is the STC valve what I was talking about. It will be having a pressure connection, return line, and this is going to the hydraulic motor which is driving the pump. And this is the, if you see, these are the connections. This is the pilot connection which is coming from the means the proportional control valve, which is the solenoid valve. It is coming here, and accordingly the directional valve, that will be the STC will change accordingly, means that it will throttle, so that you can have a different speed of the hydraulic motor. This is the inlet, and there are venting valve, and this is the compensator. That is the, it will be restricting the maximum flow. It means flow for low load. Then otherwise what will happen? The overspeed, what I was talking about, it will have overspeed. That is the compensator. It can be fixed, it can be adjustable also. And local control means we are locally throttling the flow. That is the local control. And also there is an indicator on top. We can see what is the line pressure. So pressure is high, it means the RPM is high. Pressure is less, it means the pressure you can monitor, and then you can adjust the local control valve accordingly. That is the inlet pressure. So this will be the valve. This is the inlet, this is going to the hydraulic motor, and there it will be throttled here. And this is the our local control. It means by local control we can go to the return line. This is the return line. So it means we can controlling the flow which is going to the our hydraulic motor, and automatically also it can be with the pilot valve, it can be controlled, and the pilot pressure, so that the remotely we can control the speed of the motor. So this is the system. For the certain things I'll explain in the because another, this crane I want to do it next class, because it will not be completed. So this one will be the last one, or I'll see if I want to show you something in other classes. So I'll explain this in the last class, and then next class, and then I'll start the another chapter. So crane also, you can have the hydraulic crane, you can have the electro-hydraulic crane. So there will be a hydraulic system, because crane, it's lifts high pressure, high load. So you can have the hydraulic system which will driving. It can be electro-hydraulic, it can be electronic hydraulic, like the crane which you have got for the container vessel. Container vessel, the cranes movement has to be very, very precise. There should not be any jerky movement. So there it is electronic control. But finally it is electronic together with the hydraulic. So electronic hydraulic control will be having. And where bulk carrier, where you'll be saying the crane is jerky motion, it has got. It is not the smooth movement of the crane. So there you can have electro-hydraulic, electrical and the hydraulic. Even you can have complete hydraulic also. So all this type of arrangement you'll be having depending on the application. Like for an example, if you have a cargo which is discharging by the conveyor. There is a conveyor system and the cargo is discharging through that. Then the crane will be electronic control, electronic and hydraulic, because the actuator will be driven by the hydraulically, because you need high power, because the crane is lifting around 30 tons of weight, one lift. It may be 35 tons, it may be 25 tons. It's very high load it takes. So hydraulically, actuator will be operated, but it will be controlled by the, like Framo we have seen, it is the PLC control which is coming to the pilot proportional valve, and then it is hydraulically operated. The proportional STC valve, that is the speed torque control valve, it is hydraulically operated. But the control there, because of the smooth operation, we don't want any step control on the jerky motion. So there you have the electronic control, because depending on the application. So we'll do it in the next class. Now tell me any question, and I'll send you all the diagram and refer I have used for the lecture. I'll send it to you by email. Yeah, Haile, tell me.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Suppose now, Chief, we are going from a hot area, like we are going from hot area to cold area.
Yeah.
So the hydraulic system, especially when we go to this north side, Russia, something we was having a problem on this hydraulic system.
Yes.
So what
Russia
type of
means
preparation we make?
you are going to the cold climate, isn't it?
Cold area, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
So what type
start,
of preparation we make? Because now you tell us already heating system on this hydraulic system. I
yes.
can see. I cannot see any cooling system, heating system. Only I see cooling system.
Yes. Depending on
So
the trading area, like suppose it is ice class ship, then you will be having a heating system. And suppose you don't have heating system, then what do? You run it for before operation. You run it for some time, maybe 1 hour before you start. Then what will happen? 1 hour it will circulate through the system. Once it circulates through the system, then the heat is generated and you can have the viscosity of the oil. Viscosity of the oil is the problem because of the cold climate.
yes.
So because of that, the temperature will increase, though it is because there will be a friction generated, heat generated because when it is flowing through the system with the through the pipeline, and then you will achieve the right viscosity for operating the system. Always run it before. It depends upon what is the outside condition, and if heating is not provided, even if it is heating is provided, still you'll have to run it early so that complete system is temperature is increased. And if it is not there heating system, you cooling definitely will not be using, but you will be running it idle for some time. It may be sometime it is 1 hour, sometime maybe half an hour. It depends upon outside temperature. And then after that it will see it will start functioning correctly. So that is the even what will happen when you have a break, cargo break. That time you don't stop the your power pack. You run it idle. Otherwise, what will happen? Same problem will come. And during the break, after the break, it will cool down, and you will not have time to do the warming up. We call it warming up. So it has system has to be warm up in that condition. So many cases you might not
Okay,
have
thank you, Chief.
heating. In that case, you'll have to resolve that problem like that. So, any other question?
One more Chief.
Yeah.
This I can see on the system there is many filter.
Yes.
But this filter are like disposable filter or like a reusable filter?
No, it can be disposable. It can be reusable. You can clean it. It will depend on the system design. Both are used. So you'll see hydraulic system, the return filter, you clean it. You don't dispose it off. Most of the filter you should be able to clean, reusable, but there are systems where you have the cartridge filter. So you need to replace. So Dev, what is the question?
Yes, Chief. Earlier, when you say we warm up for 1 hour, 2 hour, but if it is, let's say, already frozen for example, if we take this hatch cover, if it is already frozen on the line, how can we make recirculation? We cannot even make recirculation. It's already clogged. Yeah, at one point, we'll make the pipeline burst or something. Is there any other means than this?
See, this is hydraulic oil. This is not the water. Water will get frozen, but hydraulic oil, the freezing point will be very low. It means if the hydraulic oil is frozen, with that oil you won't be able to go there. So the hydraulic oil is not like water. Water will get frozen at sub-zero temperature. But if you see the property, next class I'll show you a property where the freezing point will be there. That is the pour point. So it will not be solidified. The pour point will be lower than your operating temperature. The condition. The ship will go only because when you as a chief engineer, you must check that ship, using the oil, hydraulic oil, what is the property, what is the pour point? Because at that point, the hydraulic oil will not move. That's what you are saying, isn't it? It will not be frozen, but it will not be moving because of the pour point. What will be the pour point? And you know the temperature, at what temperature you are going to, and on deck hydraulic pipe will be directly exposed to those temperatures. So you will see your oil pour point will be less than that. So that still the oil will flow. Understood, Devut?
Yes, Chief, it's clear.
So that is important, otherwise system will not function. So any other question? So if no more question, then we close it here, and tomorrow again we start. So all of you have a nice evening.
Thank you. Good night, Chief.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.